Science created him. Now, Chuck Norris must destroy him. Martial arts master versus superhuman killing machine. Welcome to the review of Silent Rage. Welcome to Body Bags. I'm your Thursday reviewer, Chris, from Chrisb Movies. You know my name is Chris, and you know I love B movies. And as well as B movies, I like them Chuck Norris films. Oh yeah. So this is Silent Rage, and this is a movie that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. I mean, I had nightmares for weeks. But now in my adult years watching it, I had a lot of laughs. This movie cracked me up. But as a kid, you know, you're watching something like this and it scares the living hell out of you. And I guess back in them days, things were different, I guess. People got scared of goofy things, like I did, I guess. Maybe I still get scared of goofy things. I don't know. This is a film from 1982 by director Michael Millis, and if you don't know him, you might know one of his other films, Jackson County Jail, another old school type film. It's not too bad. I haven't seen Jackson County Jail in so long. But it's not too bad of a film. Hey, even Mac is excited. Yeah, even Mac is getting some Chuck Norris action over there. Mac attack over there. So I'm going to try to describe this film the best way I can. And most of you who have seen Chuck Norris films probably seen this one. This is one of my favorite of the Chuck Norris films. It's a movie that scared the hell out of me as a kid, like I said. But now I watch it, it cracks me up. Especially some of the fight scenes were so hokey, man. So anyway, you get this guy, John Kirby, and this guy's got some issues, okay? He's psychotic, and he's having a psychotic breakdown. He's a man who rents a house with this family who are totally obnoxious. Well, the man in the house is kind of quiet, just keeps to himself, but the wife is a big mouth, and there's 3 kids that are just annoying as hell. So he wakes up from his slumber, all sweaty, with a kid knocking on the door, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be right there. And he opens the door, and one of the kids is like, you have a phone call. And so John is so anxiety-ridden. He's sweating, and he's going down the stairs, and he's against the wall, and you just know this guy's got issues. So he goes down, and he gets on the phone with his doctor, and you know, the kids are screaming while he's on the phone. He's like, I'm losing it. Doctor, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. And so he has pills that he's jingling, and he just drops them on the floor, and he's like, I won't be visiting with you today. And that's where the murder starts to happen. So he goes outside, and the mother's screaming at him, saying, can you believe these kids? Well, don't be rude, answer me. And he goes outside. He starts fumbling with an axe, and he's holding it like this, and it's kind of creepy. How he's going through the motion with the axe that's like against this like tree branch. So he pulls it out, and he goes by the kids, and he goes into the chicken coop, and it almost seems like he's chopping up chickens. I don't know what the hell he's doing in that chicken coop. But the kids are running, and the kids end up in the house, and the mother sends the kids to the park, because you don't want kid killings, come on. No, Columbia Pictures does not approve of such things. So he comes to the house with the big mouth mama, and he shows up with the axe, and he starts chasing around the house. She goes into her room, locks herself in. We know what's going to happen. So he takes the axe, and he's chopping the door down. He does not say, here's Johnny, okay, because that's in another film, okay? So then the quiet father, comes down with a chair, smashes the chair. He totally no-sells it and takes the axe and just hits the father in the head. And then he comes in, goes after the mother. But before he can chop up the mother yells to the postman, help me, help, help! So you know the postman's going to call the sheriff's office. Oh yeah. So he chops the mother up and she's dead. Now here comes the sheriff. Sheriff Dan, played by Chuck Norris. And his comedic sidekick, Charlie, the deputy, played by Stephen Furst. Stephen Furst is good, man. He's good for the humor. And he's cool as just a simple-minded deputy who doesn't really have the experience of the sheriff. And the sheriff's trying to kind of teach him the ropes. Spoiler alert, doesn't work out well for him. So anyway, I mean, tons of cops, a lot of locals with shotguns. I don't know who called those guys. So Chuck Norris, of course, goes in the house by himself. Because we know any bad guy Chuck Norris is going to try to take out. So Chuck goes in the house, and he comes in, he starts walking around, and there's no music playing, so it's utterly creepy during this scene. There's absolutely no music whatsoever, so Chuck goes up, and he sees the dead bodies. So he goes into the room, and we figure that old John with the axe is in the room, but he's actually in another room. So Chuck comes in, starts looking around, and then John Kirby runs at him with the axe, and they have this little fight scene where he has Chuck like this, and Chuck kicks off a wall. They backflip over a bed, and now Chuck finally gets him and throws him out the window, and he kind of jumps out, and he's trying to get away. And at that point, his psychotic doctor shows up, because he knows, the doctor knows things are not so good, so he's going to pay him a visit. So he's like, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him. He's my patient, he's my patient. He's just psychotic, he just needs meds. And so basically they finally get him down and they handcuff him, and then they put him in the cop car. And they're trying to take him to the precinct to lock him up. But he gets out of the handcuffs, kicks the door down, and now he's just beating up these cops left and right. And then finally everybody takes out a shotgun and shoots him and kills him. And now he's dead, and you know the doctor's upset because it's like he feels like he's responsible for not helping John. So now not only anytime Ron Silva plays somebody, he's multi-talented. Not only is he a psychiatrist, he's also basically a physician. So it shows the body of John, and basically they're doing experiments on his body now. I mean, John's dead. John's dead. He got killed. So they're experimenting with him, and then Dr. Tom, Ron Silva's character, his boss, has this serum. And when injected, it gives people immortality. So anytime you get a scrape or you get a cut, the body automatically heals itself. So basically, now they're bringing John back to life with this drug. And at first, he gives him a placebo because Dr. Tom's like, just don't do this. Just let him rest in peace, man. And he says, oh, it didn't work. Okay, so when he leaves, now the other two doctors, they shoot him up with the real serum. And now, John's coming back to life. And John is more psychotic than he was before. And he's almost like animalistic. Like he goes like this, almost like a gorilla or a monkey of some sorts. Totally mindless. It's almost like, Frankenstein. He's alive. And they even use the term, he's alive, in the movie, so it's like, come on, play retrospective to Frankenstein in this film. So he comes back to life, and he just goes on a major killing spree, killing a lot of people that you really like, but I'm not going to tell you who they are, unless you've already watched Silent Rage and you already know. Characters we like, we get used to, and now they're no longer here, and they get killed. Okay, by this total psychotic killer. He's a guy who can't die. Chuck Norris is fighting a guy who can't die. Chuck tries everything. The guy blows up in a car. He has fire coming from him. He survives. He survived 1 million gunshots. Well, the doctors actually brought him back to life. He survived getting thrown right off a building. Michael Myers didn't get thrown off a building, but he got thrown out of a house and survived. So it pays homage to a lot of, other films. Like Halloween and Frankenstein. And I gotta say, Brian Libby, man, I liked him as this crazed killer. Brian Libby could be Peter Weller's brother. If they said these two guys were brothers, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. He plays a good psychotic guy, albeit a psychotic guy from 1982. Pretty laughable. Some of the fight scenes, especially the end fight scene with him and Chuck Norris, are absolutely hysterical. Because, Chuck Norris does his, stare in the eye face off, and he's like, goes down like a gorilla. Absolutely hysterical. I was laughing my ass off. The end scene, that's a scene that scared me as a kid, because is there really an end in sight? And I think there's a reason why there could have been a sequel, but there was no sequel made. Well, you'll see at the end of the film if you ever watch this one. Just say, if you take a header down a well, if you're this guy, you might survive it. So, the cheesy film, man. It's cheesy as hell. Chuck Norris's acting is incredibly cheesy. Brian Libby, I like the guy. I've seen him in other films. He did the best he could with this. Either him or Peter Weller could have played this part. Oh my god, unbelievable. So the acting was kind of hokey and kind of 80s style acting. And then people, some of the character development was not too bad. You really feel for the deputy, Charlie, Stephen Furst, because he's a comedy relief. You really like him. There was a fun fight scene with a bunch of bikers in a biker bar. Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off. Oh my god, absolutely friggin' hysterical scene. But again, you gotta watch Silent Rage to see what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Things were unintentionally really funny. A lot of the fight scenes were hokey and hysterical. But the film flows so well and it's so much fun. It's so much fun to watch. I'd say that the best actor in this film was Ron Silver. I think he did a pretty decent job. You know, Ron Silver is pretty much an A actor. Everything I've seen him in, he's been good. He's the best actor in this whole film. Stephen Furst as the second best with, you know, the comedy relief. He's great at comedy. And if you ever seen him in Animal House, you take a real liking to this guy. I don't know if he's still acting, though. There's a question. His points to ponder. I'm going to put this one on a cheeseometer because it's cheesy as hell. But a fun film, and it's an hour and 40 minutes, and it doesn't feel like an hour and 40 minutes. It flows pretty well. I got this from Mill Creek, and I love the slipcovers for this. It's got like that VHS type feel to it. I remember seeing this film in theaters, and then, you know, after I watched it on VHS. I'll check it out. Mill Creek does a really good job with these slipcovers. I really like them. And this cover out's not too bad either. I don't think so. And it just has the film. Very minimal on extras, not a whole lot of extras, but fun film, man. If you ever want to see Chuck Norris battle a Monkey Frankenstein, or in the beginning, just a psychotic killer who looks every bit psychotic, then check out Silent Rage, with a really good ending that may give you nightmares for weeks. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to rate this film, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. I saw this film in the theaters, so it has a special meaning to me. So I give it a good 8 out of 10. It's a fun film. And if you want a fun, old-school canon-like film that has fun, hokey action, not so good acting, but cheesy acting nonetheless, then check out Silent Rage. You might like it. And this is one of my favorite Chuck Norris films because, you know, I mean, it was probably one of the first. I saw An Eye for an Eye first, and then I saw this one. It was one of the first couple films I've seen from Chuck Norris, so it holds a special meaning to me. But anyways, check this out, and check this whole, like, Mill Creek collection of VHS slipcover type films. They have a lot of really good films, so, yeah. Old school feel, even says, action thriller. Mixes horror with action. Hey, you can't go wrong with this film. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Check out all the other reviewers. They all do a bang-up job. And check me out next week, because next week we're doing some genre on. Pizza. And don't forget to check out those late-night horror movies, and if you want to watch a good midnight film, this is perfect for midnight. Read up on your latest Fright Mags, but don't forget to tune in to another episode of Body Bags, and we're going to take John Kirby out of that well and send him your way.